Hi everyone, welcome back. Let's solve another SQL problem. Patients with a condition. Problem number 1527. Let's take a look at the problem statement. We are given a table called patients. There are 3 columns in this table. Patient ID is the primary key for this table. Conditions contains 0 or more codes separated by spaces. This table contains information of the patients in the hospital. Our task is to find the patient ID, patient name, and conditions of the patients who have type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes always starts with diab1 prefix. We can return the result table in any order. Let's take a look at the example. This is our patient's table. Like you can see, we have Bob, patient number 3. His conditions start with diab1. Similarly, we have patient ID number 4. George also has the condition start with diab1. Alan is diab2, so we will not return this. So we should return these 2 rows for Bob and George, as you can see here. Alright, so let's solve this problem. We'll be using wildcard to select all the string that will be either start from code here, diab1. It's going to be something like this, but we are going to put a wildcard at the end because after diab1 there's a 0 0 and then 0 0 here, right? So that, or like as you can see here, acne space diab1. So we also need to include where diab1 is the beginning of a word, but it's also like if there's a space up here, we should include it as well. So it's gonna be wildcard space and then diab1 and then wildcard. So this is our wildcard we will be using to solve this problem. Alright, so I'm gonna select star from patients table, patients, where conditions like this or conditions like space diab1. Alright, so let's run this. Alright, so the output looks good. We can submit this and make sure that we pass all the test cases. Alright, accepted. Runtime 1831 milliseconds. Let's solve another problem. Problem number 196, delete duplicate emails. Let's take a look at the problem statement. We are given a table called person. This table has 2 columns, ID and email. ID is the primary key for this table. Each row of this table contains an email. This email will not contain uppercase letters. So our task is to write a solution to delete all duplicate emails, keeping only one unique email with the smallest ID. Note that we are supposed to write a delete statement and not a select one. And after running the script, the answer shown is the person table. The driver will first compile and run your piece of code and then show the person table. The final order of the person table does not matter. Let's take a look at the example. Here we have person table, ID 1 to 3, and we can see ID number 1 and 3 has the same email addresses. So we should return the email address with the smallest ID, which is number 1. In the output, we should see ID number 1 and number 2. Alright, so let's solve this problem. As stated in the problem statement, we're supposed to write a delete and not a select one. And in this case, I'm going to do a cross join. So a cross join, the syntax is going to be select something from P1, P2. P1, P2 is the table that we want to do cross join on. And in this case, it's going to be self-join. Is going to be just one table and we name it differently. So in this case, we are not going to select, we are removing, so delete right from person table, call it P1, cross join with person table as well, I'm going to call this P2. So the cross join I typed here this is what it does for cross join. So for each of them, we will produce the Cartesian product. So for ID number 1, we'll have the combination of each of them. So for ID number 1, we have the match on 1, 2, 3. So all the product. Number 2 also have 1, 2, 3. And ID number 3 also have 1, 2, 3. And we want to delete those that have where p1.email equal to p2.email. Want to remove those that there's a duplicate in email. So in here, as you can see, we have 1. We will remove these row right here. We remove where John example equal to John at example. And also another condition is and p1.id is greater than p2.id. So we keep the smallest ID. If there's 2 duplication, we keep the smaller ID. So in here we are excluding where p1 ID is greater than p2.id. Row that we are removing is this one, where the ID is number 3, John at example.com, because p1 here is greater than p2, and p1 email also equal to p2 email. All right, so let's comment this out and run this. We need to delete p1. We delete everything from p1 here. Delete this value, so ID and email. All right, let's submit that. So I passed all the test cases, runtime 1332 milliseconds, beat 78.27% of users with MySQL. And that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in another video.